Welcome back, one and all, to MindMesh. My name's Chayton.
And I'm Fish.
And this is the podcast all about those shower thoughts you have. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I just had to clear out all the gunk in my throat.
Wow,
Yeah.
wavelength. Anyways, this is the podcast all about those shower thoughts you have that make no sense, all about those internet rabbit holes you find late at night, or just those weird online videos that you find that just, you know, it itches your funny bone. Today we have some great topics. We've discussed them. We've talked about them a little bit beforehand, but honestly, this is actually, I think this is the first podcast or the first episode that we haven't really like pre-planned or we've like pre-watched stuff. It's just we're going in blind.
Completely blind.
I've decided, you know, last episode or the last few episodes, it's always been about these YouTube videos. So this time,
find strange videos.
Yeah,
and kind of
about
talk
these strange
about,
videos.
like, the
Yeah.
topics
So I've kind of decided I'm going to switch the script. I'm going to go to the other end of what we talk about. I'm going away from the internet rabbit holes.
I'm
going to the shower thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a question for you, Fish.
What's your shower thought?
Okay. What makes a pizza a pizza?
Okay, so
I need to hear your thoughts on this. Because I feel like
what's your argument towards it? Like, what are you saying? Like, defines a pizza, or like, what's an example of what someone would call a pizza that's
like,
not typically a pizza, or
okay,
like a Mexican pizza where it's like a
tortilla.
tortilla.
like a fast food taco chain Mexican pizza. Is that a pizza to you?
In my eyes, it's a pizza.
Okay,
but I see where people don't think it's a pizza because pizza is typically categorized by the breaded crust, so the dough, a doughy crust, and then like the tomato sauce, and then the cheese on top,
and then the cheese. All right,
and then whatever toppings you decide to put on top.
That's a secondary question I have. Okay, so you're a thin crust fan. I know that I know you're a thin crust fan. You're like you're not even the New York thin crust. You're the Chicago thin crust. That's the kind of thin crust you like.
I like it to be like
saltine cracker.
Exactly. People complain about thin crust being like a cracker, but that's what I like. I like that.
See, the problem is that me being gluten intolerant, that's technically the only kind of pizza I can really have because gluten-free pizza is typically thin crust.
Really? Yeah.
Okay. So then let's step up a bit. So from thin crust, you have like the typical pizza. You have the typical slice from Domino. All those chains.
Normal slice.
Yeah, the normal slice. Okay.
Would you call that New York style?
No. Okay. That's New York style is like New York.
Kind of thin, but not really.
Yeah, it's kind of thin, but not really. It's got a nice doughy, like bulbous crust. It's basically like if you took all the.
It's thin, but it's not. But it's really chewy. It's not
it's giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York slices are big. They're like if you buy the amount of there's like the dollar slices in New York, but they're the size of your head. Like that's a New York slice. It's a comically large, like Ninja Turtles-esque pizza slice. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing then. Do you believe that Chicago deep dish is pizza?
Yeah, it's still pizza.
Okay. All right, I'm glad we're on the same...
I think deep dish pizza, although I don't prefer it, it's still pizza.
Okay, because I talked to someone recently who made the argument that it was a lasagna.
Or like more like a pie or something like that.
It was more like an Italian bake, akin to a lasagna.
Have you ever heard of like tomato pie?
Yes, and it's similar to Chicago deep dish, but like,
I'm not saying it's the same thing at all, but I see that's what people compare
I
it
understand
to. Where
it.
It's just
but for me, like Chicago deep dish, and I'm glad we're on kind of the same thought process when it comes to what's a pizza. Well, I'll test your knowledge
here
soon.
Making me want a pizza right now.
I'm so sorry, but what my thing is that my argument for like why a deep dish isn't a lasagna is that it doesn't have the layers. It doesn't have the layers of a lasagna. So like lasagna, when you think of it, has 3 to 4 layers. It's sauce, noodles, cheese, sauce, noodles, cheese, sauce, noodle, cheese.
Yeah.
Whereas with I think a classic deep dish is the crust, sauce, cheese, toppings, cheese sauce, I think. So it's got like layers to it.
No, it's sauce cheese.
It depends on where you are in Chicago, because some people put the tomato sauce on top. It's like a reverse pizza. You know how you can do like the reverse
open face pizza?
Yeah. So it's like, it depends on where you go in Chicago, but it's like they have different ways of layering it, but it's never more than like 1.5 layers, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why I don't recognize it as like a pasta bake.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's a pasta bake at all, because I mean, the only quote unquote pasta is the dough, and that bakes in the bread. It's not even like pasta.
Yeah. Okay.
Because would you call a loaf of bread pasta?
No.
Exactly.
I would not. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we got the same thinking here. Okay. So let me challenge your knowledge.
Okay.
All right.
Give me some pizza trivia.
Okay. Time for some pizza trivia. Okay. Say you go into a pizza place.
Yeah.
And you order something called a Ramen Pizza. All right. And what they give to you is a rectangle, not a circle, but it has a ramen noodle crust. All right.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of Japanese cheese and like tomato paste. It's got like a Japanese hot sauce-esque sauce, but it has tomato in it. And then you have cheese. And then you have soft boiled eggs and crunched up seaweed and spicy mayo drizzled over top. Cut into thin crust pizza-esque squares. Would you consider that a pizza?
Again, it goes into like the Mexican pizza type thing. In my eyes, I would consider that a pizza, but to most people, I understand that would not be a pizza.
It would not.
But that sounds good as fuck.
Yeah,
that sounds really good.
So, I guess we can take that back a step. And so if you go to a bagel shop and they have something called a bagel pizza, and it's just a bagel with tomato sauce, cheese, and pepperoni spread on top, you wouldn't call that a pizza.
No,
but it's still
pizza bagel.
But it's still dough, sauce, cheese, and toppings. You wouldn't call that a pizza, but you would call this ramen pizza that doesn't even have a dough a pizza?
Okay, in my eyes, you're taking something that pre-exists like a bagel.
Ramen pre-exists.
Okay. God damn it, you got me in a bind here. Okay, it's a pizza. Okay.
I'm glad we're getting somewhere here.
I understand where you're coming from.
So what I'm saying is that pizza is a
pizza can be anything as long as it has a crust.
Yeah, a crust, sauce,
and cheese.
Okay, so let's take this into account. What do you see as pizza toppings? Like, are you a fan of pineapple on pizza? Do you accept pineapple as a traditional pizza topping?
If pineapple is on a pizza, I will eat it and I will enjoy it. But I don't personally order pineapple on pizza.
A pizza. Okay.
I'm a very classic guy. I like strict pepperoni, and that's about it.
Okay. So there are some people out there that don't even accept pepperoni. Like, if you're going traditional Italian pizza,
just cheese.
It's cheese and basil.
Oh.
With this nice little dollop of olive oil sprinkling the top. That's a classic. No pepperoni, no nothing. If you ask for a New York slice, you're gonna get a cheese pizza. You're not gonna get pepperoni.
I mean, cheese pizza's okay.
Yeah, cheese pizza's okay. Okay.
I like cheese pizza.
So let me ask you this.
It's hard to fuck up pizza. It's really hard to fuck up pizza. No, it's
very hard to fuck up pizza. Okay. So what's the weirdest thing you would accept as a topping on pizza?
Give me a sec.
Okay. I'll give you as many seconds as you need. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick. What do you think would go good with tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, and pizza crust?
Something I would personally
eat? That's something you would personally eat.
Chocolate chips.
Okay, we're on the same wavelength. What if I told you there were chains out there that put ice cream, mustard, and or what is it?
I wouldn't like the mustard in that, but the ice cream. Okay, we talked about this in our I don't know when we're gonna upload this or what order this is gonna be, so I don't want to say which recording. But we mentioned our friend Eli.
Yeah. We mentioned our friend Eli, I think, in every single recording that we've had. So I don't.
Okay, so our friend Eli Me and him did this all throughout high school. Chocolate and cheese.
It works.
It's a great combination.
Yeah, it's like at fondue restaurants. You eat all the cheese with all the bread and all that stuff, but then your dessert is melted chocolate, so you still have the aftertaste of cheese in your mouth. And it's a good combo, just like wine and cheese is a good combo.
We used to have like this.
It's that sweet and savory.
Yeah, we used to have this like we had the normal cafeteria, and then we had something called a la carte, where you could go and get like a bag of chips or like something called a Bosco stick, where it was just like a breadstick at a pizza shop.
Yeah, I had the
with like a cheese stick.
Yeah,
with cheese in the middle. But anyways, we'd get like a cup of cheese and then like these chocolate Rice Krispies, and then we would dip them in the cheese.
Okay, I could see that.
Because we like the chocolate and cheese combination.
Yeah, no, okay, so...
Ooh, what's your weirdest yet your most favorite food combination?
I've talked about this before with you, and you think it's really weird. And this is kind of akin to what I was talking about with like ice cream on pizza and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And this isn't my favorite food combination. I just wanted to point this out before we moved on. Yeah. There was someone that made like a marshmallow pizza. And it was really fucking weird. But like every time I've ever seen that video or watched that video or seen that recipe, I always think, yeah, that sounds like it works.
Yeah.
But as for my weirdest food combination, and this will be a very nice segue. I will say that it'll be a very nice segue. Peanut butter and jelly on a hot dog.
Ooh.
Now I know it sounds weird, but for me it's almost like adding Lay's potato chips to your peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay, so you recently showed me a video of like a peanut butter and jelly burger.
Yeah, no. And we go to a fucking burger restaurant that has a peanut butter and jelly burger.
I think that actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no. Meat with PB&J works.
I'm just not a hot dog guy, personally.
Okay. But this works into our segue. Do you believe that a hot dog is a sandwich? Now think about this clearly. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes, because it's a piece of meat in between two.
In between? Is it? Or does it fall within a slit of bread?
Guess it depends. It depends how well the fucking person.
Would you categorize a sandwich as meat in between two buns? Because I do not think that a hot dog is meat in between two buns. It's a hot dog in between a slit of a singular bun.
See, I'm kind of divided on this because I see both points. I see where it could be a sandwich, and I see where it's totally separate. Because you're right, I don't
accept it as a sandwich. But
I see where it could be, though.
Yeah, but someone brought up a very good point to me.
What?
When you go to Subway and you order a sub, what do they do with the sub? What do they do with the bread? They take out a full length of bread
and cut it in half.
And cut it in half, but not all the way through. So they make one piece of bread into a slit of one bun.
Yeah.
And then they put all of your meats, all your vegetables, all your condiments, and they close it. So it goes into the ideology of if a submarine sandwich is a sandwich, why would a hot dog not be a sandwich?
That is a great point.
Mm-hmm.
And
then there's also fast food burger chains out there that don't cut all the way through their buns.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a few. Well, there's one.
Which one?
It's I believe it's Shake Shack up in New York.
I like Shake Shack.
Or actually, I think there's one here now.
Is there a Shake Shack here?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But they use potato buns and they don't cut them all the way through.
I really like their plate.
So someone brought that up, and it is a very good point of why a hot dog is a sandwich, but I just can't accept it.
It's weird when you have like a sausage.
Yeah, it's weird when you add sausage to it, but then
instead of like a sliced meat or sliced sausage, like big pepperoni, instead like sliced pepperoni, I understand is like a sausage, but it's sliced thinly.
Well, it's just like any piece of meat. Like you could really think about it as like if you condensed a giant thing of ham into the size of a sausage and then slice it, that's still sliced ham. But when you have it in a sausage form, it's a completely different thing. It's a completely different unwieldy beast.
When it's in the wiener form, it is not the same as a sandwich meat. Is what we're saying, right? Okay. I want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we agree what a pizza is and what a pizza is not. And basically our judgment is everything's a pizza if you think it's a pizza. And then our stance on hot dogs as sandwiches is maybe.
But something we can both agree on?
What's up?
No,
it's not that time yet. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, we're not halfway through an episode yet. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
That little funny gag's gonna come later. You kidding me? I'm gonna throw some grand old more food combinations, and I need your just gut honest opinion.
Here, let me throw at you some food combinations I enjoy.
You know off the top of your head. Oh, that you enjoy. Okay.
Every time I go to Wendy's.
Yeah.
I get a Frosty.
No, I already know where you're going with this. And fries.
And fries and chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
And I use the Frosty as like my dipping sauce.
No.
And it's amazing.
I completely understand that. And akin to this, with that cold aspect to this, ice cubes in your cereal.
No.
No?
No,
You don't want to keep that milk nice and cold?
Well, I eat it too fast. It doesn't go cold.
Okay. And this, actually, never mind. This one goes akin to what you were saying. Top pizza with M&Ms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. I would do that.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. Okay, so orange juice with cereal. No milk in cereal or an OJ. You need that OJ.
Wait, so you pour the OJ in the cereal?
Yeah. No, you don't think so?
No.
What if it was like the blandest cereal that had zero flavor?
Like Cheerios? Maybe. I would try it if it was something like Cheerios where it's more of just like a bland flavor.
Okay. What about peanut butter on scrambled eggs? We already discussed this before our podcast where you don't like ketchup on scrambled eggs. My family grew up doing that. But you're okay with salsa on scrambled eggs? And that's where my mind's like, wait a second.
I don't know why. That's
tomato paste versus chopped up tomatoes. So what's the difference there?
I don't know. Just something about chopped up tomatoes seems more appealing to me than ketchup. It's not. I understand it's the same thing, and I'm not gonna fight that. But there's some mental barrier.
Well,
there.
It's not the same thing. They taste completely different. But to me, it's still a tomato based product.
Yeah, no, I know that's what I'm saying.
But anyways, peanut butter on your scrambled eggs. What are you thinking?
I really like peanut butter, so I'm gonna say I'll try it.
Okay.
I don't know if I enjoy it, but I would definitely try it.
Sticking with peanut butter. So say you had 2 pieces of bread.
Yeah.
So you had peanut butter, ketchup, and pickles. I'm bringing everything back. Nope. You don't think of peanut butter?
I don't like pickles.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? That's actually kind of weird. Our current friend group, 90% of us don't like pickles. I'm the 10%. I'm the one that likes pickles. I could eat pickles every single day of the week.
See, I want to try and broaden my food horizons and not be as picky. Yeah.
No, I get that. I was never really a huge picky kid.
I was.
I don't know what led me to think I don't know what led me to always be unpicky. My family's always been oddly picky when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, so it's always been kind of weird for me to be the unpicky one in my entire family. So I don't know. But going back to pizza. Pizza, you remember this trend? Pizza and ranch. Is that okay for you?
Oh yeah. I've done it before. I enjoy it, but
pizza and liquid ranch, aka milk.
Yes.
You think so?
Yes, bro.
Okay, bro. Tell me.
Oh my god.
I feel like you got a story.
All throughout high school. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but just
you did it.
Well, I remember what it was. I was hanging out with our friend Ross one night, and we had these nights where I'd bring over my TV and my Xbox, and we just fucking game all night.
Mm-hmm.
And we made a frozen pizza, and I think either he grabbed the last soda or I just for some reason wanted milk.
Yeah.
But I grabbed a glass of milk, and when I took a sip of milk after I took a bite, and I was like, oh my god, that tastes really good. So I started just
dipping your pizza in your milk.
Yep.
Okay. Final question I have. All right. Final question I have.
Final one.
Sticking with the pizza. Sticking with the ketchup. Pizza dipped in ketchup. This is the final one. Do you think it would work?
It could work.
It could
but
work.
not for me personally because
Okay, for me, I feel like it would work depending on the pizza.
Maybe depending on the pizza. For me,
Like for me, I'm thinking if it's a pizza that has little to no sauce and it's all cheese and toppings,
okay, yes,
I think ketchup would add a lot to it. But if I feel like if it was a very saucy pizza, dipping that in ketchup would make the tomato flavors
it would
collide.
Just over.
Yeah.
It would just be all tomato.
Yeah, it would be. Well, not all tomato. It's just you have the super salty creaminess of ketchup, and then you have the super aromatic spices of marinara.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you have too much of one or too much of both, they would collide, and it just wouldn't phase. It wouldn't phase.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm saying. But I look, Fish. I need to know something. I need to know. Have you heard?
Yeah.
You have?
Are
you sure?
Possibly. You can tell me though.
Have you heard of Anchor?
Like the thing that's on boats?
No. Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. I'll let you explain. You said you knew about it.
Oh yeah. I remember now.
Okay.
It's free.
It's free?
Yeah, there's
absolutely free, no charge.
No charge.
Uh-huh.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer.
Wait, phone? You can just pull out your phone
and edit your podcast right from it and
that's
record
wild. That's absolutely wild. What else does it do?
Well, you can distribute your podcast, or Anchor will distribute your podcast for you.
Where?
So it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else. Many more.
Wait, so Google Podcasts and all of those, you can hear it using Anchor? Oh my, really? What else do they do?
You can make money from your own podcast with no minimum listenership.
No minimum listenership? Are you kidding me?
Man.
You can just make money from making a podcast?
Yeah,
I didn't know
man.
you could do that.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Wait, so you're telling me that if our listeners want to make a podcast, all they have to do is download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started and make their own podcast?
Yes, that's all they have to do is download
all they have to do?
The free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
That's absolutely wild. What a great steal.
What a great steal.
All right, everybody, welcome back.
All right,
welcome back from
way
our,
to transition into our next topic.
Yeah, thank you for joining us for an ad read. Thank you to our sponsor, Anchor. It's been a blast to partner with them and make this podcast a reality.
Oh yeah,
it's honestly been a breeze. It's been a breeze.
I'll been super simple to set up everything.
Yeah, no.
All we had to do was wait for our artists to get our beautiful graphics up.
Yeah, beautiful graphics. Talk to our artists about songs that we can use, all that nonsense. Literally, the hardest part wasn't even signing up to make this account for our podcast to be distributed.
Uploading
uploading everything. It was literally waiting for all the back end stuff.
Yeah. We've been waiting to do this, and then we finally were able to, and it took
super
you
easy.
An hour maybe?
Not even that. Literally to set up, to upload a single episode of the podcast or our movie talk or anything like that. Literally, it was probably about a 5-minute process.
Cool.
And then it just starts. It goes through the process, and then it gets distributed to anywhere and everywhere you can hear a podcast. That's how kind of seamless it is. It's a grand time. But anyways, we've talked about my lovely shower thoughts of the afternoon pertaining to food because, food is always on my mind.
Here, wait.
I am a big foodie.
Before we switch off
what's
this,
up?
I do want to give you one more food combination of mine.
Okay.
Mashed potatoes, white gravy, and hot Cheetos.
Yeah, that works. I can understand that.
I really loved that shit in high school.
No, okay. So like potatoes and white gravy just go together typically. That's a typical food combination. I'm a big fan of crunch and I'm a big fan of hot, and I feel like putting flaming hot Cheetos on top of the super like savory mashed potatoes and gravy would add a nice like counteracting factor to it. Yeah,
exactly.
It would counteract the savory and add a little heat to it. Well, I mean that's the same reason I put like hot sauce on everything.
Oh my god, we're both big fans of hot sauce.
We're both big hot sauce fans. We're both really big hot sauce fans. But anyways, switching away from food, switching away from the chef at heart inside my soul. Fish, what do you have to talk about today?
Well,
yeah,
I recently came across this channel, and I can't pronounce it right.
Okay,
but it's called.
Is it like Worcestershire sauce?
It's like, I think it's Sirmore or something like that.
Seymour?
Seymour or something.
Seymour?
SYRMOR.
Okay.
And he basically interviews people on VR chat.
Oh, okay.
And it's really interesting. You get all these different experiences because like it's just these people that can't really interact in the real world. Just either physically they're disabled or they're just socially inept that they don't feel.
Yeah, and they feel better in the virtual world. That's kind of the same like reality Ready Player One like set into motion type deal, or really what virtual reality headsets themselves kind of set into motion.
Yeah, especially with VR chat specifically. I know Ready Player One kind of has like a game based off of it, but from what I've heard, it seems like VR chat is kind of like the modern day, like quote unquote Ready Player One environment you want to be in.
Yeah, well, I think there's a Ready Player One like mod for VR chat.
I know that there is like I don't know anything about that. What's the game called?
It's called Oasis.
Yeah, there is an Oasis. It might be a mod, but I remember hearing about that.
Well, I mean, there's tons of worlds in VR chat. What I was gonna say about VR chat is that I don't remember if it was like weeks ago or months ago. They just actually released an update that allows full body tracking, and that's kind of a big subset in like VR chat because it used to be like to walk you just had to swing your arms in a walking motion and that would cause you to walk.
Oh really?
Or it was like the PlayStation VR where the way to move is you look at your camera, you hold a certain button, you see like a big old arch like you're about to launch yourself and where you're gonna land.
Yeah.
And then you let go and you just teleport to that spot. That's how like I'm pretty sure VR chat started, and then they added the walking controls with 2 controllers, and they just as I said, I don't know if it's recently or not, but they just started full body tracking, which is crazy because
you like simulate walking and then you walk in.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say is that like that was kind of crazy to me because I have a whole group of friends before this update came out that's like big on the dance scene in VR chat because that's a big thing, is dancing in VR chat. It's really weird, but like I did not realize how much they had to hack their controllers. Like they had to basically hack their system to where they saw 4 controllers or 5 controllers, to where they like duct tape controllers to their feet and made belts out of a 5th controller so they knew where their hip was or their hips were, where their feet were, and where their hands were.
So it would track their feet.
Yeah, so it would track how their limbs actually worked, and they would have to make custom models that had like bone structure so that way it would actually interact with the controllers the right way. And like, so there was like this whole subsection. I just didn't realize how crazy like in depth they had to go to actually make that work before it was actually implemented. But VR chat's just crazy to begin with. Like honestly, I wish I had a VR setup or like I just wish it was possible for me to have a VR setup, which I mean I could technically have one, but I don't really want to invest the money into it.
It's still
like virtual reality is still
the price point where it's not super accessible for everybody.
Yeah, but it's like it's still an interesting idea, and it's just I'm sitting here waiting for like probably another 4 or 5 years until it's like, okay, yeah, it's at the price point I want, and it's still viable. It's not going to die out.
Well, it's not I say it's not viable. I mean, like the PSVR is a pretty.
Yeah, no, it's pretty viable.
And then like you have like the new fucking Oculus thing that came out. But like for the ones where you really want to get into like VR and immerse yourself, like the Vive or the higher end Oculus.
Yeah.
it's gonna cost you a lot more.
Well, there was one that came out that was like from an off-brand company, but they decided that they didn't want to do what everyone else was doing, so they just took 2 4K panels and they put those in front of your eyes. And it apparently it didn't work real well. They're in like their third or fourth, or maybe they're on their second version of it that like made it a whole lot better. But they're like, it's crazy big. Like, you know how the Oculus is like the shape of your the front of your face in front of your eyes. This one was like maybe 2 or 3 inches out.
That's
like
ridiculous.
It looks like it looks like a hammerhead shark. Like that's what it makes your head look like. It makes it look like you're a hammerhead shark. And it's super weird. But VR is such a crazy thing to think about.
Oh yeah.
Like I got Google Cardboard. And
just the little one that goes on.
Yeah, you just fold it up, you put your phone inside, and then you can go on YouTube or download all the Google Cardboard apps and just play around with it. So I can't say that's my one experience, because back when the Oculus first started, when it was like a Kickstarter campaign, I had a friend that donated to it and got the development kit, like the very first development kit. So I was like one of the first people to play with VR because he got the development kit, because he wasn't a developer or anything. He just said, yeah, I'm just going to donate and get it. That was my first interaction with VR. So then I took a step back like 2 or 3 years later, and I got the Google Cardboard, and it was really weird to see how like, wow, this piece of cardboard on my phone is giving me the same experience as this giant ass headset that I put on 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, no, when I got my Galaxy way back when, I got the Samsung VR.
Oh yeah, the Daydream stuff.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool. I mean, there wasn't much you could do. There weren't many games, but I mean, the VR was a neat experience. And I think once you're able to fully move around, which I think you can pretty much achieve now.
Yeah.
In like VR chat and whatnot, it's just gonna get even more immersive. And I heard that they're developing stuff for like haptic gloves or something like that.
Well, no, when VR first came out, they like in like trade shows and stuff like that, they had, it was almost like this odd treadmill like thing. It was
Omni treadmill. I remember that.
And like basically
it like dipped down and you could
it was like, and you could run, and you had to wear like special pads so that way your feet slid.
Yeah.
But it would allow you to run and walk real tight. I don't know how they tracked your feet.
I remember that. I remember thinking that setup was so cool because there was a dude playing Skyrim, and then he played like some FPS.
Yeah, and you could just turn and walk in any direction, but it didn't matter because every time you stepped, you just slid back to your starting origin. And it was and you had like guns and stuff, attachments and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But no, also talking about haptic feedback, it wasn't just gloves. It was vests.
That'd be cool.
So that way when you're shot in game, you would feel where it hit you.
That'd be cool.
Or like if you were shooting a gun, you would feel the recoil on your shoulder and stuff like that. So no, it wasn't just haptic gloves, because like the newer controllers have haptic feedback like your phone when you touch it. Mm-hmm. Like the new I think it's the Steam Index. I think that's what the Vive has become, as the Index. But their controller is called the Knuckles. Like they have pressure sensitivity per finger.
Huh.
So literally in game, like you're holding it like you're holding a rod. But
or
if
like
you squeeze with
just
or like a Wii remote. But if you squeeze with just your pinkies or your index fingers in game, your hands are open, but then the pinkies will crunch down, or the index fingers will crunch down.
Yeah.
So like these new controllers are having like haptic feedback or like pressure sensitivity per digit.
I've always imagined just having like these gloves where you where they have like these mechanisms inside the joints.
Yeah.
Where like say you wanted to pick up a gun in the game, you pick it up and the joints kind of stop.
Oh, where it's
supposed to.
Maybe that would be very difficult to make, like because the human's grip.
Yeah,
because the human's grip strength is pretty decent, and it's really hard, like in a very small area, to stop that.
Yeah.
So I feel like to keep that within a consumer's grasp of where it would be like a glove would be very difficult to actually do.
It's
But
true, but
I
I
don't-
mean, it's just something I've thought
It's
about.
like a pipe
before.
dream. Oh
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's one of those things where like back in the day when you got your like PlayStation 2 or like your GameCube or anything like that, where there was like the murmur of that stuff. Like,
yeah.
what's the future going to be like for gaming? And they brought up virtual reality, and well, I mean, like Nintendo kind of did it with the Virtual Boy before the GameCube and stuff like that. But it was always kind of like in the back of a person's mind, which I'm sure is why like Ready Player One was written and stuff like that. It was always in the back of people's minds that like the future isn't gonna be physical.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be in like VR.
Yeah, no.
I mean, have you I'm sure you know of like shit like the singularity where they say like either we're gonna be implementing like chips into our brains where we can access the internet and whatnot, or
Yeah.
that we're gonna somehow put our consciousness into a computer.
Well, I mean, biotechnology like that's already kind of a thing.
I know.
Because
Elon
like
Musk just released his like Neuralink, where I can't remember what it does, but it helps track like health data and stuff like that.
well, yeah, I mean, if you even think going on Elon Musk, the whole Tesla ecosystem, the more they use the auto steering, autopilot, the more the neural network of Teslas learn. The more people use autopilot, the better Teslas drive.
Yeah, because it's learning those
So
patterns and how
so
to
it's
drive.
like it's all about how do we adapt that machine learning to brain learning. But what was I gonna say along those lines? Oh yeah, no, I mean just talking about like bio engineering and stuff like that. People have already started putting like NFC chips in their hands.
Yeah,
to pay for stuff.
I've seen that.
There was actually, I think there was a university campus that instead of having key cards to get into buildings, they just put it in their palm as like a little like IUD pill type deal, like the birth control, and then you just hold up the back of your hand up to the card scanner, and it would just beep you in.
I could be wrong, but I think there's some Scandinavian company that implemented that with their offices.
Maybe. I mean, it's super simple to do.
Like where you implement a chip, and it's like you said, it's like
It's
their key card.
it's a non-invasive surgery. It's literally just a shot, basically, at this point. But
shit's crazy.
I think they just I don't remember. Once again, this was like months ago, but I seem to remember reading an article where they just announced the first digital contact lenses.
Really?
Yeah.
So like it's like augmented reality, but in the size of a contact lens.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess that's also a very interesting thing to bring up because that's also
Augmented reality.
Yeah, augmented reality with AR, because that's a big thing that phone companies and I mean even Microsoft's dealing with right now.
I've always wanted augmented reality. I want to be in a space like Tony Stark and just have all these schematics around.
Well, that's kind of like what Google Glass. And,
that's what they were wanting to do.
Yeah, but Google Glass was weird because it was like one thin, like weird
Band
eyepiece
around.
Yeah, it was a band that went over your eyes, and then there was a small little glass thing that floated in front of your like right or left eye, and that's the only way you would be able to see what was coming through the glasses. But then Microsoft came out, and I forget exactly what it was called, but it was almost like a half Oculus in a sense, where it was like that same band, but it was a large screen that came down. That went like it cut your eyes in half in a sense, or like it cut your vision in half.
Yeah,
but
we
like
just need to where you don't look like a freak when you're walking around.
Well, yeah. Well, the whole Microsoft thing was more for business orientation because like when they were like showing the pitch or whatever, they showed it where it was like a mechanic and like he was fixing a motorcycle and he didn't exactly know how to take it apart, so he folded down the Microsoft goggles or whatever they were called,
and it like showed
and then
how
all of
to
a sudden
do
it made a 3D model of the motorcycle and he could just grab it and pull it apart and see exactly what he needed to do before he did it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, they were working on putting Minecraft on it. That was that was really weird. They've actually shown that the past like couple E3s, I think.
Oh yeah, the AR
the
Minecraft.
They
showed that
goggles.
this past E3.
Yeah, they've shown it the past like 3 or 4 years, and it's always been like an improvement. It's always been like a stepping stone.
Huh.
But like it's kind of weird seeing like AR and VR compete. Yeah. It's like for me, AR is almost more intriguing than VR because AR is making virtual reality real.
Well, yeah, it's implementing it into like reality instead of taking reality and going somewhere else with it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it, and I'm very interested to see, because like VR has been around for what, God, 6 years now, 7 years.
God, it has been that long, hasn't it?
It was 2012 or 2013.
I think around 2013 is when I first started hearing about it. The Kickstarter probably started around.
So
2012.
it's crazy to me that it's already been out for like 6 years and it's still not deemed a viable future type deal.
Yeah, most of the time when VR first came out, I always said to my friends, I was like, I don't know. Do you guys think is this going to be a gimmick, or is this going to be like the future of gaming?
It's crazy that it's been out so long and we're still asking that question.
Yeah.
Because it's like a VR headset nowadays is like $600 to $700.
Yeah.
When a new graphics card comes out for a computer, it's $1,000. For the top of the line, top of the spec, it's $1,000 to $200 or $1,000 to $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
But we see that as viable because it just appears on the screen. But as soon as you add VR into the mix, it's like, oh, you need this $2,000 graphics card to make sure that this VR runs smoothly. You don't anymore, because VR came out two or three graphics card cycles ago.
And now these graphic cards are able to...
They're too powerful for the VR now. Which is crazy to think about, which also like reiterates the question of like,
what is that?
Is virtual reality viable?
What is that one? That one thing that the technological curve.
For the human faces.
No, the technological curve of like innovation and stuff like that. How it just keeps rising.
Well, it depends on what you're talking about.
Like with computers and stuff like that.
It depends on which part you're talking about, because they're like with SSDs, they keep getting faster and faster, so it is an exponential curve. But with processors, it's actually kind of stagnated.
Really?
Yeah, like it used to be like a giant jump every single cycle, but now it's like it's gotten to such a point where it's like 1 to 2% increases instead of 15 to 20.
Okay. So it's not getting...
Well, same with graphics card, actually. The most recent, like, NVIDIA jump didn't do a whole lot. Like, comparatively to the past graphics cards iterations. So it's kind of weird to think about with computers, that whole, like, technological jump. Like, that's not really happening much anymore with certain components.
But, I mean, you have other things, too, like AI and VR and
AI is going absolutely crazy with all the deepfake stuff.
Deepfakes are crazy, and that's a whole nother can of worms.
I feel like we could make a whole episode about deepfakes and how like it makes you think like, will movies actually need actors in the end?
Yeah, I mean the hard thing about that is you look at stuff like Rogue One, where you had young Carrie Fisher, or the one guy.
Yeah, but those weren't deepfakes. That was full CGI.
Oh, so you're talking about the power of deepfakes. Well, still, you need the actor. I feel like you need that certain actor there.
Because if you have all that actor's footage from the past with all those different angles and all those different facial expressions.
For the performance, not necessarily for the look. You can achieve the look.
Yeah, you can achieve the look.
Unless you have a very convincing impersonator.
That's all you need.
Because, I mean, you look at, like, Corridor Digital's Keanu video.
Mm-hmm.
And like
it's pretty close, and they just pulled a guy from the street.
Yeah, and like the worst part about it was the wig, but then again, like you said, it was
they filmed that. They literally planned that and filmed that in like 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. So like the ending shot where they're like acting like the set's over and they're talking to quote unquote Keanu.
Yeah,
that's when I was like, holy shit, they had Keanu on here. And then,
and then it just like Star Wipe. Nope, joke's on you. We did not have Keanu. But anyways, that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different situation.
I understand, and we can
talk about that in a later episode or next time, whatever. Who knows? Who knows what's going on anymore? But thank you, Anchor, for being our sponsor for this episode. This has been MindMesh. Make sure to join us back every Monday on your favorite streaming platform, be it Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere that you may listen to podcasts. Just search MindMesh. Maybe we're on it.
Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah, MindMesh. MindMesh. We'll be putting up some fun stuff on there, hopefully in the future. But as for podcasts and movie talks, they come out 2 days later on YouTube. So if the podcast comes out on Monday, you can expect the video version of the podcast to come out on YouTube
on Wednesday.
Movie Talks comes out on Friday. Movie Talks will come out on Sunday on YouTube. And then, of course, we'll be coming out with some other stuff if we find it viable on YouTube.
Exactly.
But anyways, make sure to join us back next week where we have some even crazier topics here on MindMesh. I'm Chayton.
And I'm Fish.
And we'll see you next time. Wait, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say what you were going to say.
Okay. What are we going to say? 3, 2, 1. See you. You're not. Bro, never mind. I'm ending this.
All right. See you guys later.